$100,000. Before you click away thinking that sounds impossible, stay with me. I'm going to break down exactly why this amount works, and more importantly, how regular people are hitting it faster than you'd think. Here's the math behind why 100,000 is the tipping point. If you invest $100,000 in a stock market index fund, history suggests you can expect an average annual return of around 8 to 10%. Let's be conservative and use 8%. 8% of 100,000 is $8,000 per year. That's your money making $8,000 while you sleep, watch Netflix, or work your regular job. Now you might say $8,000 a year isn't enough to live on. You're right, but remember what I said about acceleration. If you reinvest that $8,000, the next year you're earning 8% on $108,000. That's $8,640. The year after, $9,311. By year 10, your account is making over $17,000 annually. By year 20, it's making $37,000 per year, which is more than many full-time jobs pay after taxes. And if you have an extra income, you can reach it very fast, and you can do it by opening a YouTube channel with My Halo in my community in the link below. But here's where it gets really interesting. Studies on safe withdrawal rates, particularly the famous Trinity study from the late 90s, found that you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually and have a 95% chance of never running out of money over a 30-year period. 4% of 100,000 is $4,000 per year. That's not living money for most people. But remember, your portfolio keeps growing. If you withdraw 4% while your investments average 8% growth, you're still gaining 4% per year. Your 100,000 becomes 104,000 after expenses, then 108,160. The snowball keeps rolling even while you're taking money out. Now let's address the elephant in the room. $100,000 still sounds like a mountain to climb, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck or buried in student loans. So let's break down how real people are getting there. Path number 1 is the steady saver approach. If you save and invest $500 per month at 8% annual return, you'll hit $100,000 in just under 11 years. That's $16.67 per day. Cut the cable subscription. Cook at home more. Buy used instead of new. Each decision saves $50 to $100 monthly. Combined, you're already past $500. Path number 2 is the income booster method. Increase what you earn and invest the difference. A side hustle earning $300 a month, combined with $200 in expense cuts, gets you to $500 monthly. Side income often grows over time. You start freelancing for $300 a month. 6 months in, you're making $500. A year later, it's $700. Now you hit $100,000 faster than 11 years. Path number 3 is the windfall accelerator. Invest $250 monthly and add every windfall to your account. Tax refunds, bonuses, birthday money. The average American gets about $3,000 in windfalls yearly and spends it on stuff they don't remember buying. This approach could get you to $100,000 in 8 to 9 years instead of 11. Let me give you a real example. Sarah, a teacher making $48,000 per year, started investing at 28. She put away $350 monthly in a simple index fund. She also added her yearly tax refund of about $2,000. By age 36, 8 years later, she crossed $100,000. At that point, she had options. She could keep teaching knowing her investments were building wealth. She could take a lower paying job she loved more. She could work part-time. The $100,000 gave her freedom. Now let's talk about what happens after you hit $100,000. This is where things get wild. The first $100,000 is the hardest, but once you crest that hill, gravity takes over. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, famously said the first $100,000 is a beast, but you gotta do it. After that, money flows easier. Why does it get easier? Because of the acceleration we talked about earlier. When you have $10,000 invested and it grows 10%, you gain $1,000. Nice, but you still need to save most of your progress. When you have $100,000 and it grows 10%, you gain $10,000. That's nearly a year's worth of saving for someone putting away $1,000 a month. At $200,000, a 10% year nets you $20,000. You just made more from your investments than many people save in 5 years. At this point, your money is growing faster than you can save, which means the snowball is officially rolling downhill without you. Let's run some specific scenarios so you can see what this looks like in real time. Scenario 1. you hit 100,000 at age 35. You keep investing 500 a month and average 8% returns. By 45, you have 370,000. By 55, you have over 1 million. By 65, you have 2.4 million. Scenario 2, you hit 100,000 at age 40. Same 500 monthly investment, same 8% return. By 50, you have 300,000. By 60, you have 770,000. By 65, you have just over 1 million. Notice the pattern. Starting 5 years earlier more than doubles your final number. This is why the age you hit 100,000 matters almost as much as hitting it at all. Every year you delay costs you exponentially. But here's something interesting. Even if you stop contributing after hitting 100,000, the compounding still works. Imagine you hit 100,000 at 30, then never invest another dollar. Just let it sit for 35 years until you're 65. At 8% growth, that 100,000 becomes 1,470,000 without you lifting a finger. This is why I'm obsessed with people hitting that 100,000 mark as fast as possible. It's not the finish line, it's the starting line where the real race begins. Now let me address some common objections and mistakes people make when they try this. Objection 1. The stock market is too risky. Yes, the stock market goes up and down. In 2008, it dropped nearly 40%. In 2020, it crashed 34% in a month. But here's the thing. If you're investing for 10, 20 or 30 years, those crashes are just blips. The S&P 500, which tracks the 500 largest US companies, has returned an average of about 10% annually since its creation in 1957. That includes multiple recessions, crashes, and crises. If you invested money in 1980 and left it alone until 2020, you averaged over 10% per year, despite multiple disasters. The key word is left it alone. The people who lose money in the market are the ones who panic sell when things drop. They buy high, sell low, and then wonder why investing doesn't work. The patient investors who keep buying through the crashes are the ones who build wealth. Objection 2. I'll start investing when I make more money. This is the most expensive lie people tell themselves. Let's say you wait 5 years to start investing because you want a higher salary first. In those 5 years, if you had invested just $200 a month at 8%, you would have built $14,000. More importantly, you would have built the habit. You would have learned how investing works. You would have experienced a market drop and realized it's not that scary. You would be 5 years closer to 100,000. Waiting doesn't make it easier. It makes it harder because you have less time for compounding to work. Objection 3. I have debt so I can't invest. This one is more complicated. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest, yes, pay that off first. You can't earn 20% reliably in the market, so the debt costs more than investing gains. But if you have student loans at 4% or a mortgage at 3%, the math is different. You can invest and pay those debts simultaneously. In fact, you should. Because if your investments average 8% and your debt costs 4%, you're coming out 4% ahead by doing both. Now let's talk about the biggest mistake people make after they start investing. Checking their account every day. I get it. You're excited. You want to watch your money grow. But here's what happens when you check daily. You see red days. Your account drops 2%, which on $10,000 is $200. It feels like you lost money. You didn't lose anything unless you sell. The shares you own are still there, they're just priced lower today. But emotionally, seeing red hurts. Do it enough times and you'll convince yourself investing doesn't work. You'll sell at exactly the wrong time. The best investors I know check their accounts once a quarter, or even once a year. They set up automatic monthly investments and then forget about it. They're not smarter than daily checkers, they're just less likely to make emotional decisions that destroy their returns. Here's another critical point about that 100,000. It needs to be invested, not saved. There's a huge difference. If you save 100,000 in a regular savings account earning 0.5%, you're losing money to inflation every year. Inflation historically runs about 3% annually, so your 100,000 is losing 2.5% of buying power each year. After 10 years, your 100,000 can only buy what 80,000 bought before. You worked hard to save it, and it's worth less than when you started. This is why investing matters. Stocks have historically outpaced inflation by 5 to 7% annually. That gap is what builds real wealth. Now let's talk about what specific investments work. When you open your investment account, you'll see thousands of options. Ignore most of them. Here's what you need: a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. One fund. These are collections of hundreds or thousands of companies. When you buy a share, you're buying a tiny piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and thousands of others all at once. Why does this matter? You don't need to guess which company will win. You own all of them. On average, the whole basket goes up about 8 to 10% per year. This has been true for decades. The expense ratio, which is the annual fee charged by the fund, should be under 0.1%. Some of the best funds charge 0.03%. That means for every $10,000 invested, you pay $3 per year in fees. Compare that to actively managed funds that charge 1 to 2%. On $10,000, that's $100 to $200 per year. Over 30 years, high fees can cost you hundreds of thousands in lost growth. Let me show you exactly why fees matter with real numbers. Imagine two people, Alex and Jamie. Both invest $500 monthly for 30 years. Both average 8% returns before fees. Alex uses a low-cost index fund charging 0.04%. Jamie uses an actively managed fund charging 1%. After 30 years, Alex has $679,000. Jamie has $591,000. Same contributions, same market returns. But Jamie paid $88,000 more in fees over those decades. That's not a small difference. That's a house down payment. That's years of retirement income. That's the cost of not paying attention to fees. Here's another thing people mess up. They think they need to time the market. They wait for the perfect moment to invest. Both approaches fail for the same reason. Nobody can predict what markets will do next week or next month. Studies have shown that trying to time the market usually results in worse returns than just investing consistently regardless of market conditions. Even investors with terrible timing who bought at market peaks still made money over time. The lesson: consistency beats timing. This is why I recommend automatic investing. Set it up once and forget about it. Every month, the same day, the same amount leaves your bank and buys shares. When prices are high, you buy fewer shares. When prices are low, you buy more shares. This is called dollar cost averaging. Let's address what happens during a crash, because you will experience one if you invest for long enough. In 2008, stocks fell 40%. In 2020, COVID caused a 34% drop in 1 month. Here's what successful investors did. They kept investing. When the market crashes, you're buying the same companies at cheaper prices. If you were happy to buy shares at $50, you should be thrilled to buy them at $30. The people who lose money are the ones who panic sell. They watch their 100,000 drop to 60,000 and they can't handle it. They sell everything, locking in their losses. Then when the market recovers, they're on the sidelines. They missed both the drop and the recovery. Let me give you the exact steps to start building toward 100,000 today. Step 1. Open an investment account. I recommend a low-cost brokerage that offers index funds. The whole process takes maybe 15 minutes. You'll need your social security number, bank info, and that's about it. Step 2. Set up automatic monthly transfers from your checking account to your investment account. Start with whatever you can actually sustain. Even if it's just $50, start. You can always increase it later. The habit matters more than the amount right now. Step 3. Invest that money in a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. These funds own hundreds or thousands of companies, so you're diversified automatically. The expense ratios should be under 0.1%. Anything higher and you're overpaying. Step 4. Increase your monthly investment by 1% every time you get a raise. If you're investing $300 a month and you get a 3% raise, bump your investment to $330. You'll never miss money you weren't spending anyway, or open a YouTube channel to increase your earnings, and you will invest much more. You can do it by joining my community in the link below. Step 5. Every time you get unexpected money, birthday cash, tax refund, bonus, stimulus check, invest at least half of it. You can spend the other half guilt-free. This accelerates your timeline without feeling like pure sacrifice. Step 6. Once a year, check your progress. See how much you've grown. Adjust your monthly amounts if you can. Then close the app and forget about it for another year. That's it. 6 steps. No complicated strategies, no stock picking, no crypto gambling, no real estate headaches. Just consistent, boring investing that will get you to 100,000 faster than almost anything else. Before we wrap up, I want to address one more thing. What if you're older and feel like you've already missed the boat? Maybe you're 45 or 50 and you're thinking 100,000 is too late to matter. It's not. If you hit 100,000 at 50 and let it grow until 65 at 8%, that's 317,000. If you keep adding 500 a month during those 15 years, you'll end up with nearly 600,000. That's a retirement account that generates $24,000 per year using the 4% rule. Is it the same as starting at 25? No, but it's infinitely better than starting at 55 or never starting at all. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Here's the truth about building wealth. It's not about making brilliant moves. It's about avoiding stupid mistakes. Don't sell in a panic. Don't pay high fees. Don't try to time the market. Don't pull money out for non-emergencies. Don't stop investing when things get boring. Do those 5 things and you'll beat most people. The boring truth is that wealth building is boring. It's the same action repeated hundreds of times. Transfer money. Buy index fund. Ignore account. Repeat next month. That's it. No drama, no excitement, no secret strategies. Just patience and consistency applied over years. But here's what's not boring. Watching your net worth cross 6 figures for the first time. Realizing that your investments earned more this year than you saved. Knowing that you could survive 6 months without a paycheck because your portfolio covers your expenses. Having the option to take a pay cut for a job you'd love. That's not boring, that's freedom. Here's my challenge to you. Calculate exactly how long it would take you to hit 100,000 based on what you can invest monthly. Be honest. Don't use fantasy numbers. Use what you can actually commit to right now. Then set a calendar reminder for that date. That's your 100,000 party date. When you hit it, and you will if you stick to the plan, you'll understand why this number is so powerful. It's not about being rich, it's about having options. It's about your money finally working as hard as you do. It's about the snowball rolling downhill while you live your life. The path is simple. Open an account this week. Set up automatic monthly investments. Choose a low-cost index fund. Then let time and compounding do the heavy lifting. 10 years from now, you'll thank yourself for starting today. Oh, anyway, I opened a new completely free community where I explain how to create and scale your YouTube channel. After an experience with over 10 successful channels, there I will give you all my strategies and tips to monetize and scale your faceless YouTube channel, and I will help you step by step. Since YouTube is the golden opportunity of 2026 if done well, I'm waiting for you. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depend on your own decisions and actions.